I'm Nadia Alien. Welcome to today's discussion around grid resiliency and its impact on Dominion Energy's grid transformation plan. The GTP aims to safely, reliably, and affordably shore up and improve our existing infrastructure and systems to equip them for the grid of the future. This series explores the various grid resiliency initiatives that play a role in making up the greater GTP. Two of these initiatives are the Smart Charging Program and the LOX Campus Microgrid. Joining me to discuss the significance of these are Director of Electrification, Kate Staples, and Electric Transmission Engineer, Genesis Alvarez. Thank you both for being with me. Kate, let's start with you. The Smart Charging Program is an ambitious one. Can you walk me through the reason behind this initiative?
Sure. So the intent of this program is really to encourage customers to install smart charging stations. So that means charging stations that are networked and can communicate. We did this by providing rebates to customers who installed these types of charging stations. The charging stations offer a lot of amenities. They offer amenities to drivers, to station owners, and to utilities. So the program's really a win-win for everyone.
Thank you, Kate. Coming to you now, Genesis. Like the SCIP, the LOX Campus Microgrid is also supporting our commitment to deliver safe, reliable, affordable energy. Can you explain how that's being achieved?
Yes, of course. But first, I would like to start off by defining what is a microgrid. So the U.S. Department of Energy defines a microgrid as a group of interconnected loads and distributed energy resources within clearly defined electrical boundaries that act as a single controllable entity with respect to the grid. So a microgrid can be connected and disconnected from the grid to enable it to operate in both grid connected and islanding mode. But overall, in summary, it's a local electrical grid that can be connected to a larger network, but it also has the capability of operating independently. So in LOX microgrid, it's more of a complex design because we're including a variety of different distributed energy resources, such as solar generation, battery storage, and natural gas generators as a backup to the battery storage. PVs and the battery storage produces clean energy with no greenhouse gas emissions. The LOX is considered to be a resilient and reliable source because in case there is a disturbance on the grid that leads to a power outage, the microgrid has the ability to disconnect from the grid and sustain itself. Also within the microgrid, we do have EV charging stations and smart streetlights. In case there's a power outage, our employees have the capability of charging their electric vehicle on campus. And to address the affordable question, LOX is considered to be a customer of Dominion Energy. And by having PV generation and battery storage, the electric bill cost is reduced because the PVs will reduce the load of the campus.
Great points, Genesis. Thank you for walking me through that. Kate, coming back to you now, how does the SCIP work to benefit our customers and support the grid of the future?
Sure. So the SCIP program really is designed to benefit our customers and to benefit our grid. SCIP does stand for Smart Charging Infrastructure Pilot, but we also like to call it SKIP, like skip the gas stations or skip the emissions, because it really is beneficial to customers. EV adoption among customers is fairly moderate in Virginia, but we know that that's going to grow exponentially. So the smart charging stations that are part of the SKIP program, they collect a lot of data. And we can use that data to better understand how EV charging at scale, so when adoption is significantly higher than it is today, we can use that data to better understand how EV charging could affect our grid in the future.
Thank you for sharing. Genesis, can you talk to me about some of the benefits of the LOX Campus Microgrid?
Some benefits of just having a microgrid in general, in case there's a catastrophic event like a hurricane or a storm, the microgrid will be able to sustain itself and we would disconnect from the grid. Also, I want to emphasize that this is our first grid forming inverter that we are having on our system. Since it's a grid forming inverter, we have the capability of being a microgrid, and so we can operate independently from the grid. And if our system goes down, we have the ability to restart. This overall increases our resiliency.
Yeah, and I think resiliency is going to be so important, even more than it is today, when we have customers who are transitioning their transportation to electric. They'll be asking us about resiliency for that, just like they're asking us for our homes and businesses. So I really think that the LOX microgrid is a great project for us to learn some of that for our customers.
Thanks to both of you. Great points. Resiliency is always top of mind. So the last question is for both of you. What are some key lessons learned from both the Smart Charging Program and the LOX Campus Microgrid Program? Kate, I'll stick with you, and Genesis, please add your thoughts as well.
Sure. So we're still collecting data from the charging stations, but I'll share one important lesson that we've learned from customers that participated in the program. So throughout the program, we heard customers tell us that they needed more information to make decisions about EV charging. They didn't know what type of chargers to install or how many or where to put them or how to use them. So in response to that feedback, we actually recently launched some new EV charging programs that provide that expert guidance to the customer and offer turnkey EV charging solutions. So the SKIP program is already helping us shape how we deliver grid solutions to customers.
For the LOX Campus Microgrid Program, the most important lessons learned, I would say, would be to take more time developing the specifications and engineering section of the RFP. Also investigating and understanding the most significant factors of the project, and consider pre-selecting some significant elements and components such as the battery storage manufacturer. We learned also a lot of critical technical lessons as well regarding the design of the microgrid. For example, we learned the importance of coefficient of grounding and how to ensure that the voltage is stable within the microgrid.
Thank you both. Any final points you'd like to drive home before we close today?
As the grid is changing and encompassing new technology, we can't be afraid to learn and navigate new technology. So just being able to conduct the research, work with the team, and move forward and embracing change.
I agree. Pilots like the SKIP pilot and the LOX microgrid really allow us to learn new technologies so that we can better offer our customers solutions for the grid of the future.
I'd like to thank Kate Staples and Genesis Alvarez for their expertise and participation. Learn more about grid resiliency and the grid transformation plan at dominionenergy.com/grid improvement projects. Thanks for listening, and be on the lookout for future episodes. I'm Nadia Ely.